All right. Good morning once again. We, without wasting time, we will start with today's concern. And of course, we'll be looking at, this reminds me. I thought you will see this in maybe when trying to push to GitHub. We have some warning like this, and you know what to input this for your username. Take off this, replace it with your username, and here with your email. So we're talking about if else statements. No? Yes, statements. We'll be talking about for loops. We'll be talking about the while loop and so on and so forth. But a quick introduction of condition, what are conditional statements? Just a very quick introduction, a very brief one. After the class, I will drop materials for you to read. So conditional statements are a fundamental part of programming. Yes. Why? Because allowing code to make decision based on certain conditions. Yeah, that's important because they allow your code, they allow your work to make decision based on certain conditions. So in Python, the if else statement helps control the execution flow by running different block of code depending on whether a condition is met or not. There are two things now, depending on whether a condition is met or not. We get to see this. We saw some of them last week and we'll see more. So what is an if-else statement if you are asked? An if-else statement in Python is a control structure. Of course, we're going to see the syntax today that executes a block of code if a condition evaluates to true. Otherwise, it executes an alternative block of code. So let's see. So this is if, of course, you know the syntax. If and the condition,
Sorry,
condition,
sorry,
if
we
condition
lost
is
your
met, run
voice.
this.
So we lost your voice when you were explaining if else statement. It was cracking.
Okay, so are you there now? Am I audible enough?
Yes, it's fine now.
Am I okay? So where did you lost me?
I said when you were explaining if else statement.
Okay, I said an
When you
if
were
else
defining it
statement in
as a
Python
control
basically.
structure.
Okay, so I'll go again. I'll take that again. So I said an if else statement in Python specifically. We have other programming language, but our concern now is if else statement in Python. It's a control structure that executes a block of code if condition evaluates true or if the condition is met. Otherwise, it executes an alternative block. And you see that, you see the syntax. So this is how it is. So let me make something here. So if condition is met, it will execute a code execution. Is that how it spells? Yes, code execution. If the condition is not met, it goes for the alternative now, for the alternative block. That is the else part of it. Else, else, which is the alternative, we go for code execution for false. Code execution, yeah, for false. So let's go see that in code. We'll create a new, go into Python and create a new file. And call it if if dot spy, if dot spy. So before we even go to advanced stuff, we should see something very simple. Before we even get there, sorry, I need to introduce to you some conditional operators. You will likely see could have A equals to B. Of course, you can now differentiate between equality and assignment operator. And A, because I'm putting out this because we'll be using it a lot. A is not, this is what is not equals to B. And let's say A is less than B. A is greater than B. A is less than or equals to, please take note to B. I'll be a bit fast. So you have to pay attention. A is greater than or equals to B. A equals to B. A is not equals to B. A is less than B. A is greater than B. A what is less than B, less than or equals to B. It's the condition. And A is greater than or equals to B. So this condition can be used in several ways, most commonly in if statement and loops. Okay. And if statement, of course, starts with the if keyword. Starts with the if keyword. Let me come here. If keyword, of course. So let me quickly run a very simple version of if. Let's say A, we assign A to 5, okay, 4, and we assign B to 5, right? Then our keyword, if A is greater than B, prints A is greater than B. Very simple illustration. You'll be building from this, so follow the syntax. If A is greater than B, I'll come here and cd Python. You can do the same, cd Python, right? Clear my screen, run if dot spy. Did I save that? No. Did I save it? Oh, save. Yeah, we forgot to use the Python keyword Python 3 if dot spy. Clear. Come back and save it. A equals to this. If A equals to this, print A. Yeah, it's correct. If Python 3 if dot spy. Why is it not giving us this? Is it in a wrong directory? No. This. So let's look at it together. So yes, America Python. CD. Python. CD. Okay, so let's list the files we have today. ls, if Lopai is among its sources, we should run. If Lopai okay, can I have the else parts to see? Else print this is wait. Oh, it's still trying to pick the language it's running on. So that was the reason. You will see. So A is greater than B, which is this part. So even without this part, it should run. But my interpreter was still trying to, yeah, once this is done, accelerated language to run now. So if I save that, clear my screen, run a.py. Okay, let's see something there. Does it want to make me believe that it needs an else part as an else part to run the code? Let's see that again so we can tell some of my word settings in my system. Okay, but instead of else, let's use else if. Type notation in comment. Yeah, settings issues. Do it later. So instead of else, let's use else if. So you see. Now this elif means else if A is greater than B, instead of saying else if, we use this short version elif. B is less than that. Or you come here. Else. So we have this block. So if A is greater than B, print A is greater than B. Else if A is less than B, print A is less than B. Else print A is greater than B. A is not greater than B. And you can have as long as no matter how many if is there. So you could come here and add something again. If I will say if A equals to B, print A is equals to B. You could still add another if. Oh, I'm not talking to myself. My network is okay. Beautiful. So you could come to this part and let's explore all the operators. Elif. I'll pick this. A is not equals to B. Print A is not equals to B. Which one have you not used? Less than or equals to. Okay, to not work here. Let's use another one. Elif is greater than B. Okay, yeah, print else. And this is greater than, let's have for less than or equals to. Elif less than or equals to. Okay, so if I take it down, let's see. Hope we've not missed anyone. How many operators do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. I want you to know one thing. Once the interpreter finds a condition that is true, execution of the other ones will stop automatically. So what that means is that execution stops here at this first line because this part is already true. No, not this part is true. A is 4, B is 5. If A is greater than B, A is greater than B. If A is less than B, so it's here. A is not. You should have A is not greater than B, or A is less than. Yeah, it will stop there. A is less than B. So coming down should not come. Let me run the code and I'll explain later. If dot phi A is less than B, have you seen? So it stops there. But let's say, let me make A greater instead. Let's say A is 10. You see it will stop here. Right. Let me save that. Clear my screen and run if dot phi A is greater than B. It stops here. So what if we have 10 here? All right. If I save 10, all right. So we have option B. Clear my screen. A is equals to B. Please take note of this one. I'm showing you how to use this operator because we'll be going into more advanced things now. And what other condition? That is that. Let's stop there. It follows the same way, the same pattern, and all of that. So any question before we leave here to something else?
Okay. Yeah.
Any question? Okay. In the absence of no question, we proceed. If 1 dot phi.
Yeah.
Okay. So we could have one line of that. What we use, how many lines? About 6. We could have one line to, and we still achieve our goal. So let's say if
Yeah, that's what your
A, before then we have to assign or use the input operator. Say A is 5, B is 3,
yeah. Hold on.
B is 3. So if A is greater than 3, still in one line, right? Print A is greater than 3. Have you seen this? Let's stop there. If A is greater than B, print A is greater than B, else print A is less than B. So if I save that, one from Python 1.py, did I save it as A is greater than B? I told you we'll build from the basic and we are going somewhere. What we use, how many lines of code to achieve? What we use, how many lines of code? We've used just few lines of code. And from there, we could have, instead of this, I would say, let me take this out. I'll say print
Okay.
print Sandra. Let me take that out. go inside and have that. No. Yeah. Prince Sandra.
Okay.
All right. If A is greater than B, right? Follow else Prince Glory. If else, I think we have Esther in the call. Let me add with Esther. Yeah, so what this means is Prince Sandra if A is greater than B. Else Prince Glory if A is less than B. Else Prince equals if A equals to B. Else Prince not equal if
Yeah.
A is not equals to B. All these operators in one line. Else Prince greater than or equals to if A is greater than or equals to B. All these operators. Else again, print less than or equals to B if A is less than or equals to B. Else print no condition met. Let's go again. What we use 6 lines. I told you we'll be going from basics to advanced. What we use how many lines of code? Same functionality but different syntax, right? What we use that numbers of code to achieve. You see, we still use that same 6 operators to do that. Print Sandra if A is greater than B. Else print Glory if A is less than B. Still in the same line, else print equals to and other operators follows. So it will output the one that meets the condition. So come down, clear my screen, run if one.spy Sandra because this happens. So if I change this to 3, save, clear my screen, run if one.py equals to, because they are the same, right? So what if B is greater than, let's say B is 5, save it, clear my screen, run if one.spy Glory. All right, any question, please? Any question?
Going by these questions, the ones on the single line, I was thinking some of the conditions were met. That's the ones at the back because I cannot see it now.
Okay, so let's run it together. I think previously we had, but still with this,
5,
it's
3.
yeah. Let's run it together. First condition, we prompted it to print Sandra if A is greater than B, and as at that time A was greater than B, it gave us Sandra.
Yeah.
But let's work with this condition now.
Okay.
With this condition,
Yeah.
which is A is less than B now, and else print Glory if A is less than B. Okay, so
Yes.
that is why we have Sandra. And before we even go to others condition, I made mention that once the interpreter sees a particular condition met, it stops execution there and gives us the output.
Okay.
Did
Okay.
you get that? Yeah, but
Yes, I was thinking it will continue to the last
no,
item on that line.
no. Code execution is line by line and from top to bottom. Okay, so it goes line by line. Rather, it sees A before it checks if what A is equal A is assigned to. Check B what B is assigned to at this point, it has what is called in memory. Yeah, because it remembers. So once it comes to line 3 and says print Sandra, it is a loop now. Print Sandra if A is greater than B. Before then, it will stop here and go back and check. Is A greater than B? Having this condition in mind, right? So I now check that A is not greater than B. Okay, it now comes back to the next condition and check print glory if A is less than B. It will now go back. Is A less than B? If it is that, it stops there. I believe we are together now. Okay, so let's use other keywords. Let's use the if statement with other keywords like the and, the or, and all of that. Okay, so this was just a very, I should leave this one when we push to GitHub. Let's get another file. And .py. I'm using the name now to make it descriptive when you get to the GitHub to see if it's you know what that means. So let's say A we assign A to 5, B we assign B to let's say 3. All right. So we have if A is greater than B, and at the same line and, okay. Can we have another operator? I want to do something different now. Let's say C equals to, yeah, let's go with that. So let's go make a decision. If A equals to B, right, and C is greater than A, I'll give space to make it readable. It's greater than A. Let's first of all evaluate this condition first. If A is greater than B, and before then, we can have both true if this same condition are true. I'll take that again. We can have true, or this block of code runs if these conditions are true, if this A and B and C and D are true. So let's first of all evaluate them to see if they are true before we know the condition. So if A and B, if A is greater than B, is A greater than B? Let me make it greater than first to show you something. All right. Let's say 6. Okay.
Yes, 5 is greater than 3 now.
So if A is greater than B, yeah. If A is greater than B, is A greater than B? We keep that condition first. It's true. And we come to C, to this other condition, and C is greater than A. So what this condition is telling you now, if I have to, if I have money tomorrow, and tomorrow is the main item market day, I'll go to the market. That is what this condition means in real life. If you have money and tomorrow is market day, you go to the market. So what comes and what happens to a situation whereby only one condition is met? You have money and it's not market day, or it's market day, you don't have money. This condition cannot equals to true, right? Okay, so let's see that. Print both conditions to else. I want to work with something now. Print at least one condition is met. Okay, so let's save that, clear my screen, and run. What is it now? And and dot py. Before then, we have to add the Python 3 keyword and dot py. Both conditions are true, but let's make this two, right? We save it, play my screen, run and dot py. At least one condition is met. Are you following? Okay, so under, instead of getting a new file, under let's experiment with the or keyword. We added and now we are going somewhere. We want to use or. Okay. So if at least one of these is met, one of the condition is met, we just check them, we go with it. Okay. At least one condition is met. Else both conditions met. So let me comment this out so that we know what we are working with. Okay. So if A or B if A is less than B or B or C is greater than, here we have one of these. And from our results, A is less than B. So this is not true. But C is greater than A. So at least one condition is met. Let's see that. At least one condition is false. Yeah. A is not less than B. So it's faulty. All right. Let's look at it with the not keyword. Just quickly, and we move to for loop. Then I will send resources for you to look at other applications. And the not keyword, I forgot to add that it's a logical operator and is used to reverse the result of conditional statement. It's used to reverse the result. So if this is true, once you see the not keyword, it automatically turns it false. Okay, so it reverses the conditional statement. Okay, so let's see. We still have our A and B. Can I take C out now? No, I don't need C. Let it be there. Say if not A and or B. Another thing is that this you can decide to wrap them inside parentheses or you leave it. But either way, you have to be consistent. So if I take it out, nothing spoiled, but you have to be consistent. So if I wrap it, nothing spoiled, but you have to be consistent. So at least let me wrap it this time. Next, I'll just be consistent with anyone I choose to do with. So if not A is greater than B, print A is not greater than B, else A is greater than B. So you see which one falls based on our value, the values we assign to our variable. So if I save that, clear my screen. And what is it? Okay, still under and I'll run that. We did not comment this out. But here the second one is what belongs to us. It belongs to this experiment now. A is not greater than B. Of course, consider A is not greater than B. So that is why we have that. Now we want to go to something even, how should I say, deep, which is the nested if statement. Okay, so let me create another file, cast it nest.py. What that means is that you can have if statement inside another if statement. So when you have that condition, it is called nested if statement. So let's say x equals to Sandra. Let's say Sandra is 43 years. Let's work with that. So if no, please take note of the indentation so you don't have errors. If x, follow me, if x is greater than 10, if x is greater than 10, let's go step by step. Print above 10, or x is above 10. All right. Still in this block, right? Still in this L block. If not, you would have seen me match up this indentation. Okay, but still in this block, if x, let me accept this. No. If x is greater than 20, print x is above 20. Else, still right there. And this else, I will decide to take it to this other if statement, right? Else, you could say not print this. Now let's see what we have here before we run the code. We assign 43 to x, and in line 2 we are saying if x is greater than 10, print x is above 10. Which of course this is what we have, and the question stops there. But if x is greater than 20, which of course is still greater than 20 inside this, print x is above 20, else print x is below 20. Then we come to the first if block, print x is below 10. I don't know if you understand this, because the first if block has to do with 10. So I now take it to the first if block again, and then we have this print statement. X is below 10, while these are nested inside print statement. Okay, the second block, yes. So if I save that, clear my screen. What is the next? Python 3 nest.py. Sandra and Glory, can someone help us with why we have this? Two logic statement there.
Take the question again.
I want you to tell me why we have these two results. Based on my explanation here, this is like the first block. This is the second block. Of course, the indentation has helped you. So this is the first block.
We got that output because x is above x is greater than 10, because 43 is greater than 10 and 43 is also greater than 20. So that is why we got that output.
Okay, so I'm not even concerned about the print statement, because of course the print statement is what
I
what
wanted to
you
say
put
something.
into it. So we are concerned about the block, each block of execution. We are not concerned about the print statement, because what you feed into the print statement is what you have as
Yes.
output. Yeah, so we are concerned about the logic and
Okay, let me
which
say
block.
something.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
All right, so I think we are having that because we have two if statements.
Okay.
And for each of the if statements, we have an output. So that's why we have these two.
Okay, beautiful. Let me modify that. What you're saying is correct, Glory. Now, this is the first block of code. I want you to understand something here. We have two blocks here, right? And this is the first one. Under this first block, we are telling it to print X if it's above 10. You could print anything, print above, print whatever. The print statement does not matter, but the logic is what you're looking at. And this is still inside this block. It is not done. It's not done yet before it moves over to another block. So that is why you see it have 20. So if it was less, let's say, let's switch position now. Let's switch position, maybe 5, okay? Not just 5, but maybe, yeah, 5, anything, or 3. We save it. Close screen and run that. Have you seen? It has left all of this block, this particular if block, to the first one under else prints X is below 10. I don't know if you understand, no? Maybe I'll use another language to explain that. But yes, it is what it is. It's as simple as that. So we move. Let me leave that for 2 seconds. You look at it again before we go somewhere. Okay, so let's move. Let's make progress. Let's make progress. Let's make progress. I don't even need to. Okay. Can I say advance a little? A little advance. That's UI. You want to say something now? You want to use the input function. So let's work with something now. Maybe student broadsheets or whatever. So let's say maybe Mark. Mark equal to, of course, you know what this means when we talked about casting. Talk about casting. So you have to pay attention. Mark int. So what this line is, it will. I told you to always start breaking it down from the left. So you first of all enter your marks. I'm trying to explain it now. From your marks, whatever you have, it's going to be an input function first. Then you input it, whatever you input, to cast it or change type, of course, to int. So you understand that. Okay, so from this block now, I think I'll just pick this. If mark is greater than or equals to 90, of course, print grade A. Elif now. Elif mark is greater than or equals to 75. Give the students grade B. Again, if mark, let me take that, is greater than or equals to 60, just give the student C. Else, is D a pass? Yes, D is a pass, right? If mark is equals to 50, right? Give the students B or a pass. B or pass. Right. Else, if mark is greater than or equals to 40, it is E or pass. Else, if anything below that should be else, print F or fail. Now let's look at that. This will help you in your calculator project. Just some same, because we're using calculators. Let's look at it again from line 1. My mentor usually says, never trust the user. Of course, you might be dealing with integer, but surprisingly, you see the user inputs strings. So we need to typecast this to int, that is change the type. Of course, you're aware of that thing, that this was our week 1 topic. So if mark is greater than or equals to 90, print grade A. If mark is greater than or equals to 75, let me leave some space there. 75, print grade B. If mark is greater than or equals to 60, C, D. Let me take it down. Yeah, D. And if mark is greater than or equals to 40, so whatever it is. So let's go save that. Just save it now. Save that, clear my screen. What's the name? Advanced Python 3 advanced .py. Have you seen it? It did not just bring out the output as previously. So let's say 60. Hit enter again. Grade C, because 60 is grade C. So if you run that again, enter your marks, and I put 40, let's say 45, it falls under this, right? 45 is grade E or pass, because it falls under greater than or equals to 40. And again, if we run it, clear my screen, and say 94, grade A. So this, why I'm saying this will help you when you want to work on your calculator project. It's just the operator changes rather, but same logic somehow. Any question? Okay, let me leave it for some second and you look at it. Yeah.
Please,
Any
can you
question?
scroll back to the top?
Yeah, this is where it begins. This is where we started.
Okay. Is that from okay? Let me see your terminal again.
Okay, so if you run that, it will prompt you to input a mark number. So let's say you input
Exactly.
let's say 67, you hit enter again. It's giving you this prompt because of the input keyword, right? And let's say instead of that, I put it inside okay. I was trying to go inside, but no. And again, I could say 67. I just want to try something. 67. Okay, so let's see. Let me clear my screen. You can still concentrate on your whatever you were doing. I want to try something. Okay. My settings in keyboard. I have to set it in else. But yeah, that is it. So what I wanted to do that I wanted to try and make it a string. Even if you have a string, this keyword, it will either tell you no, it's of type string, or it will convert it based on your system settings. Sandra, are you with me? Did you get that? Gloria, are you with us?
Yes.
Oh, I think I saw Esther or Promise on the call. Promise you joined late. Are you lost? Can ask question.
No, I'm not lost.
All right, so let's go into something called the ternary operator. You will see how that is. Let me create a new file, ternary, something like that, .py. Now let's say maybe we'll just join promise. Promise equals to input for int first, int for inputs. And another one again. How many ints? Should be one, sister-in-law. Okay, so there I'll say inputs. I'll accept that. And I'll enter a number. Anything. We did with maths. Let's deal with numbers. Enter a number. How many? Supposed to be two inputs. Why the error 1, 2, 1, 2? We should have one here. And int that's int, and that's while the error true equals to int. Let's go type it again. first one. And what is there? We enter our inputs. Okay. After this here, we wrap something inside. And inside there we have what? Enter a number. Okay. So for it, oh, sorry, I didn't explain something. Did you see this space here? Is because of where is that advance of pi? Is because I left a space here. If not, you would have seen this 69 very immediately after this semicolon. So that is what I'm doing again. Where is that ternary of pi? Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do here. So what this will help us do is that it will add this and space. So we have this space before our number, just for readability sake, nothing's wrong. Okay, so next line, I want to use a ternary operator. Let's say results. Results equals to. Now watch, it is a loop, right? But what I will do is, let's use even number instead. So even if this promise, even like give out even number, if promise modulus 2, we talked about modulus operator some weeks ago, if it equals 0, right? Else odd. Let me explain again. This is what it means, even, which means give even number or print out even to the terminal, to the console, however you want to call it. If promise modulus 2, this promise now will be replaced to whatever number we enter. So if promise modulus 2 or mod 2 for short equals 0, else give odd. So this is the F string we did in our assignments, the number. So it's going to be either the number is even or the number is blah, blah, blah. The number you enter is results. And what is results? It will be either even or odd. Let me take that again. It's you print out even, which will be at this result, if promise, which is the number we enter here, mod 2 equals to 0. But if this is not true, it will print out odd. So instead of this result, it will replace it with odd, or it will replace it with even. And the number here, which is what we entered, so the number is odd or the number is even. So let's see if I save that, clear my screen. Python 3, what's the name? Ternary.py. Enter a number. Okay, let's enter an odd number, right? Say 5. The number is odd. But let's say it's an even number. 8, right? The number 8 is even. I'll leave it for 2 seconds for you to look at it. And then again, come out with either a question or we proceed.
I have a question.
I'll go ahead, please.
Please, could you just explain this results line again?
These results.
Mhm.
Line 2, right?
Yes, please.
Because yeah. So what line 2 is trying to do is that it is telling the interpreter when we want the code that you are to print out even that you are to give out even this word. So it starts from line 1, like I usually say. So whatever number is in line 1, if the number is even, we don't care. But if that number which is promise pro, if that number mode 2 is equals to 0, all right, it is even. But else, if it's equals to 1, is equals to any other thing outside 0, cannot be equals to 2 because 2 is even. Or let's give out 1, 2 mode 1, yeah. If it's not 0, then it will be odd, which is 1, odd numbers. So this is based on your ideas of even numbers and odd numbers, right? So coming to line 3, we use our F strings, and this pro will be replaced with numbers. So at this point, 8 is replaced to promise, and the results will be when this is evaluated. So we either have even or we either have odd number. I don't know if that is clear. Are you okay?
All right.
Okay, so let's us even look at a more complex application. Instead of this, let me take this out. And let me just leave it and come down so that it will help others when I push to GitHub. I'll not give out a number, maybe 10 for temperature, right? Instead of temperature, I'm not dealing with temperature. Let me use num. Num equals to, we typecast it, imputes a number. From the number, what do we want? Okay, so we run if num is greater than what number? Let's say 30. It's greater than 30, and we worked with and now, so we want to see a number is greater than 50. Print the number is between 30 and 50. Okay. Else, if number is equals to 50 and number is less than 50, instead of using this example, let me apply the or keyword. Elif number is greater than 30, right? 30, or just for you to see, number is less than this time around, maybe 20. What do we have as a number? Okay, when we input, you see, print the number is either greater than this or less than 20. Else, print the number is not in a specific range. I told you not to always mind what you, in as much, you have to be careful with what you feed into the print statement, because what you feed into it is automatically what you have back based on which condition is met. All right, so before then, let's comment this out. comment that out and comment this out. Okay, so we work from line 5. You know what line 1 means? We input a number and it will typecast it to integer, change type to this. So line 6, if number that will be inputted here is greater than 30 and that same number is less than 50, so it's either in the range of 30 to 50. The number is between 30 and 50. At number 8, a leaf num, which is the number that will be inputted here, is greater than 30, or number is less than 20. The number is greater than 30 or less than 20. Else, when the number is not in a specified range. So if I save that, clear my screen. What is the name? Tinary.py. I think we have that already. Yeah, they have it. Enter a number, let's say 35. The number is between 30 and 50. Let's go again. Let's say 15. The number is either greater than 30 or less than 20. But what if we have something like 80? Is this the expected results? Can someone say something? Think, yeah, we have from line 5. Are we together? Can you say something? I want to be sure you're following. Yeah. Start digesting from line 5 to 11 and let me know. Maybe someone should tell me why we have this. No, you have to say something, judging from the output.
Yes, we are still digesting it.
Okay.
But 80 is not less than 20 now. So why is it saying the number is either greater than 30 or less than 20?
Okay, so that is your question. We keep it. We answer it together. Sandra, what is your own? Sandra, have you arrived at anything? Okay, go ahead.
It will be the same thing because it's supposed to print.
The thing is supposed to be. Okay, so it's wrong. It's not supposed to print the last option. That means people did not really pay attention when we use the or keyword. This or keyword is when one condition is met, but this and keyword is when the both condition is met. Take note, both condition must be met before this and keyword runs. But or means either one of the condition must run. So you see the first one is telling us if number is greater than 30. So from 30 upward to infinity is greater than 30, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is why we have that. Okay. So let's say we have something like 15 then.
Sorry to cut you short. You said the and keyword means that one condition is met.
Both condition must be met.
While the or
is telling you my father is a man and is my father, right? Something like that. Of course, he's a man and is your father.
Okay.
Except woman father's children now. Okay, so let's say we have maybe 10 here. That is when you say we have error. But let's look at it. Let's look at it again. Can we say that? Can we say this is error? Is someone saying yes or no? Based on what I just explained, did you see this? That is why we have the same thing. I just tricked you and you fell. Number is less than 20. Is it not? Is 10 not less than 20?
It is.
Mm-hmm. So why do you fail that one?
We did not say anything.
Silence means what? Let me leave it for you to look at it again, please, because since people are lost, don't be lost, please. Are you lost? Okay, so we've had enough of if statement and all of that. Let's go into 4. This is already 4. Today we pass 1 on. We'll not stop at 1. Besides, we started let's. So that is that. We moved over to that and we create a new file. Call it for loops. So we call it for 1.py. Did I get an answer? Still leave that for a few minutes. All right. Promise. How many people do we have? Okay. Promise left the call. If we have enough assignments this week. So anyhow. Ask question or you are moving to something else. Or better still, explain what you understand. These two keywords, can someone differentiate between them for me?
That's the and the or.
Yes.
Okay, you said that the and means that both conditions are met. That's for instance, that number is greater than 30 and is less than 50. So that's when you use the and, that both of the conditions are met. While or, you can execute, it will execute when one condition is met.
All right, so that's beautiful. So before we even look at the for loop, let's look at something very important, how to use the break keyword. Before then, let me explain what it is. How to use the break keyword and pass. All right. Because this will help us in the for loop and the while loop. So we need to know what this is and how to use it. So using either of the break keyword or the pass keyword allows you to automate and efficiently repeat tasks. You see how that is done. Okay, so these loops are fundamental constructs that enable you to iterate over sequence such as lists, tuples, dictionaries, strings, and all of that to execute a block of code repetitively, right? Now, for instance, this pass keyword now is maybe you get to a particular, should I even explain it now? Yes, let's go with the break keyword. The break keyword first is a very clear example is when we have what we call infinite loop. Is that the how to spell it? Thing either infinite loop. So this break keyword helps you not to run into an infinite loop kind of situation whereby nothing stops the code, nothing disturbs it, nothing distracts it. So this will help break out of the code. All right. It will help break, that means it will stop execution. But the pass keyword is that it will not execute that block, but it will pass to another block, it will pass to another condition, and all of that. So that is just basically the difference between the two of them, the break and the what. Again, this break allows you to exit a loop entirely when a specific condition is met, or effectively stop the loop execution. We have the pass statement. It is a null operation. That is, it is used as a placeholder in a loop, either in a loop, in a function, in a class, or a condition when we get there. And then again, we have another one called continue.
Please, can you take the pass keyword again?
Can I take which one?
Pass keyword.
This pass keywords synthetically means that nothing is executed. So if you go to line, or if you go to line 3, maybe that is the command you gave it. Don't execute anything, they don't do anything, they just pass. Just pass that particular block, go down and continue your execution. But what the continue keyword helps you does that it helps you skip the rest, all right, the rest of the code inside a loop or a list or a string and all of that. Then it will go to current iteration and move, like it will leave the current iteration and move to the next iteration. That is what the continue keyword does. But while this one is when you go there, don't do anything, just pass. Just don't execute anything. But break, it will exit out of the loop. It will just break out. Okay, so you understand better with examples. Before we go into call.py, let's look at, remind me not to create another folder, so we use it for the thing we created folder. Let's call it break. So we look at all the examples here. Okay. So Sandra equals to okay, let's say 0. Now 4. I had to explain that for Sandra in range, we talk about the range function, range. Let's say range 10. For Sandra in range 10. If Sandra equals to 5, whatever it is, print Sandra is 5. Break out. Don't continue. Else, print Sandra is particular number. And would come here and say, if not, print loop ended or out of loop. So it will iterate over this range from 1 to this. So let's save it. Python 3 break dots py. So have you seen? Once it's got to 5, it says Sandra is 5. And you see it's break out of the code. It exits the code automatically because this was supposed to be in range 10, right? Okay. So let's say this break keyword was not there. This would have still run till what? Till the 9th number, because that is the range. So that is basically how to use the break keyword. So now let's say continue instead. So we see how it's used. Continue. I'll clear my screen. Did I save it? I hope so. I saved it right. It gets to 5, but still continue. And still then, let's use the pass keyword. Pass. Save it. Clear my screen. Run break.py. Plus 6, 7, and all of that.
Okay.
I'm leaving the screen for you to see. Maybe there's any question or I should go back to some parts and explain. I'm waiting. Hope I'm not disconnected. Okay. I'm leaving that for you to look at it. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. No question. We move. To our Oga of the day, which of course is the for loop. For loop. Unlike any other iterables, for loop in Python is an iterating function. So which iterates over some sequence like lists, like tuples, like dictionaries, like any other things to use items and all of that. So the functionality of a for loop isn't very different from it's not really different from other iterable except for some slight differences which we're going to see. And before then again, I will quickly want to differentiate between a for loop and a while loop, and when to use for loop and when to use while loop. All right. So for for loop, anytime, let me do like this. Anytime you have needs to repeat a block of code with fixed amount of number. Let's say you want to run the code for 5 times, you are sure of that number. You know it before you even start writing the code. You use for loop. But if you don't know the amount of times you want to run the code, you use while loop. I'll take that again. You use while loop. Now, in a very clear scenario, is maybe you are to take statistics of the number of students in a particular school. You don't know. So while students in this school, while students, however you name the variable, executes like run the code. So that's, I'm explaining why loop now. So that's to run the code for or throughout the number of students in that school. But for loop, you know that you have maybe 100 students in that school. You said, okay, do this for the 100 students, do this for the 100 learners, and all of that. But while loop, you don't know before you write the number of people involved, the number of learners, the number of customers, the number of members in an organization. So let's look at it out. And the syntax, just like we did in if statement, is it starts with for or it starts with while. I'm explaining the both simultaneously. So this for, once you see this keyword in each line, it signifies the beginning of the code. Then you have the iterable conditions. Any question for that before we get to see how it's applied? Okay, I think we created a file for that. Or did we? No, we didn't. We did not do that. Save for one dot. Where is it? The time it already exists. Okay. Where is it? Yeah. Are we together? Okay, yeah, we are together. Let's look at a word. Let's say name equals to Sandra, right? Why is it giving me this error? Sandra is a string. Okay. And of course, the for keyword for each of the letter in name, rather, not Sandra. I don't need this continue. I'll comment it out. Or better to take that out. Okay. So for letter in Sandra, if letter equals to A, means A found in Sandra. That is not what I want. I want this logic now. Okay. Just print it out first. So for each of the words in this, should I even say word or letter? It's the same thing. Name is equals to Sandra. So for each individual word in Sandra, print it out. Save that, clear my screen. What's okay? Python 3, what 4, 1.I, Sandra. Okay. I think we talked about this last week. Okay. So can we make a fruit name? I'm going to be very fast, please. Fruits, and I'll make a list of fruits. Okay. Let me add S, then I'll use fruits. RIT for fruit in fruits. Prince fruits. IT. So for each individual fruit in these fruits, pick the difference. There's no S here, but there is S here. So for each individual fruit in fruits, prince fruit. If I save that, play my screen, run apple, banana, cherries, and all of that. Quickly, this will be the last example before I go into nested loops. Let's say we have this. Last example. Let's say norms equals to the assigned. Let me stop with this time around. Top left. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me sum underscore moms. I want to sum them equals to, let's start with 0. And of course, you know why I want to start with 0. Okay, so let me accept this. For num in nums, for each individual number in this number, sum equals to plus equals to sum plus equals to num. You know what that means? Now, if I come to line 5 and say the sum of number is what? Nums. That means everything here will be stored here. If I save that, oh, I remember my setting has issue with this. Did I correct it? I don't know, but let's see. Can't recall if I correct that. Okay, I did. The sum of number is 10. Can we explain how we have 10? This logic is coming from here.
It added all the numbers in the tuple.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's just that. It's just that. Okay, so let's look at the next set for loops before we go to where we follow me. On. I have to be a bit fast to cover up what we are supposed to today. Let me use words. Words. Let me accept that. So for word in words, okay, we have Python. If word equals to Python, prints fun Python. Else break. Current word is what? Okay, so these are the list of words. Hello, world, Python is a lesson. So for each individual word in this list, so if word is equals to Python, print found Python, breakout. Once it finds Python, it's breakout, it stops execution, it executes out of the loop and all of that. So it will print current word is Python. So if I clear my screen, I still have one functionality to add to this, but let's look at this first. For 1.py, okay, I did not save it. Current word is hello, current word is was. Once it found Python, it stops the found Python. It leaves behind is and away from. Okay, so let me come here and do what I needed to do. So instead of I'll print out something, print maybe what should I print? I mean the following following lines maybe instead will print each each word, each letters or each words, each letters, right? Each letters of words. And now come outside and say word. Watch what I'm trying to do. Just look at my screen, trying to digest it. I'll come explain it later. So line 4, under this block for letters in word, print letters. And I might want to go outside and print something for it to store the letters. Okay, so what can you deduce from here before I get to explain? Can I zoom in? I see my screen well.
We can see the screen.
Okay, so what can you deduce from the screen? Let me comment this out first so it won't disrupt you. From line 1, these are the list of words we assign to words. So for each individual word in words, print this. So it will be fetching what it does at here at line 3 is that it will be fetching words from this list. Then at line 5 for letters in words, this will be fetching all the letters in the word and print it out. Okay, so did I save? No, let me save. Python 3. Where's my mouse? I've not seen my mouse. Just try and do something from there while I wait for my system to respond. Maybe we have to stop for it to save the recording. My system is now responding. Okay, so while waiting for that, let me explain nested loops in Python for once. I think we'll stop there and continue while loops next class. But before then, when we have a loop inside another loop, just as what we have here, my mouse is not responding, but try and look at the screen, you get what I'm saying. It is called a nested loop. That is from line 4. You see for loop inside another for loop. This for loop of line 4 is inside for loop of line 2. I'm using the line number so that you find your way around since my mouse is not responding. Okay, so there are multiple applications of a nested loop. We've seen, I think this is the second or the third example. But considering this list above, the list that's lines 1, which is hello, list of strings, right? Hello world, Python is a wisdom, and all of that. The for loop brings out individual words from the list, which is the first from line 2. That is what the for loop does for line 2. But what if we want to print out the individual characters, not word this time around? Individual characters of each word within the list instead. That is where the idea of line 4 comes in, which is nested inside line 2. We want to print individual. Okay, so this is where nested for loop works better in conditions like this. We have several other thousands of conditions and how to apply it. So line 2 is the parent loop, and line 4 is the child loop, if I should call it that way. So line 2 rather will go over the individual words, each word, one by one. And the second loop, which is line 4, the child loop, of course, will loop over each character of the word. So that is that. Any question?
Yes. This line 3, the word, there is a plus in front of it. So why did you add that plus sign?
That plus helps it to come over its. If my sister, I don't know what is wrong. I don't know what is wrong. This is not everything from the terminal. That is not everything. You have seen individual words before letters. So, how do I end that recording now? The system is not responding. Okay, a minute. Just look at the screen. Let me get mouse somewhere. So my inner mouse is not responding at all. I just stop the external mouse works. Okay, so the external mouse works. Okay. The following line will print each letters of hello. Okay. Are we together? I just brought. Okay. So each of these words, it will print, after it's printed out the word, it will print out the letters. So the following line will print each of hello. HELO. After LO is word, right? So the following lines will print each letters of word. Sandra asked me what word is. I believe you can see it now. This plus sign.
Yes.
And the following line will print each letters of Python. We have Python here. And the following line will print each letters of is. And the following line will print each letters of algorithm. Okay, so the next topic was supposed to be while loop, which ends everything about loop, and we move over to functions. But to some reasons I don't have answers to. My mouse isn't working. I just borrowed this one and the owner is working. So we have to stop there to save the recording. I will drop material to go through this one. And the while loop, of course, is not difficult since we explained it's loading something. I don't even know. Okay, so since we explained its syntax, when to use and not how to use it, I will drop materials, then you study that one on your own. But before then, let me be sure you'll be able to study it. I want someone to differentiate between for loop and while loop. From the definition, the differences will help you understand it better. Quickly before we end the class. Who will do that for us?
For loop is used when you have a fixed amount of numbers. That's when you know the amount of numbers that you are going to use, while the while loop is the opposite of that.
Okay. So while loop basically, let me quickly add that although I will drop a very good material, is used when how should I put it, in an infinite case. Like I said, you don't know the exact number. So in that case, that is where the break keyword comes in. It will help you break out of the loop, else it will run infinitely. Okay, so that is that. I would love to stop the class now. If not the class, maybe stop recording. We discuss on something more before we lost the recording. I don't know what happened. My inner mouse isn't responding.